Hello, it's me again. It's day 2. I just finished hole 5, so I'm about a third of the way through my third round here. I'm not playing very well, but that's probably, well, I'm missing more gaps than I did last time. I think I got lucky a couple of my last cards, and man, I think I'm the only one at Maple Hill right now, and it is serene. I looked at UDisc, and it says 0 to 5 players are actively playing right now, which, given the fact that I've seen no one and I've seen most of the holes, that means me. So just thinking about the course that that I've been playing. Oh, I got a bit of hat here. Just thinking about the course that I've been playing over the last day or so, and getting to reflect last night. Keith asked me what holes play differently than how I imagined, and I think for me, the gaps are definitely harder than I expected. Just all over. There's a lot of trees, and jail is jail. You will see a couple of high scores on my round this round. And it's just because if you get anywhere off the fairway, it is incredibly difficult to get back. It's not like, normally even like at Burrampore or in some of the jail spots at Harcourts, I can look and I can go, there's a line. I might not be able to hit it that well, but it's like a sky ante, a sky hyzer. I have to throw low under this tree line and then, skip in a certain way. But there's something that I can do. Whereas here, when I'm looking at, when I'm looking around, like if you look down over here, so the greenery is pretty, I mean, you can fly through it way better than you can Kiwi Bush, but there's no lines, there's just trees. It's like I've got to miss a 2 meter gap, then another 2 meter gap, and then go over this, and then blah 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 blah. Which is really cool. It's a cool challenge to make me want to stay in the fairways, play less aggressive if I want to have a more middle score, like not an amazing score, but not a terrible one, so I'm not in the jails. But to answer Keith's question, I know I mentioned it and then I went away. What holes play differently? Hole 2, the one where they added the rock wall to stop rollers, I thought that would be much more difficult for me than it was, because you need that just slight turnover right to fade towards the basket. But even so, today I'm not throwing my main bag. But I found it pretty okay. I messed it up the third time, but I almost had it. So it feels actually like a more natural shot than I thought. That rock wall is harder to hit. Now, looking at the MPO pad, I think it's much more difficult there, just because the added distance means the fade can do it a little bit too early, and you're well over that fence. Hole 3. The gap is much bigger than I thought it was. I thought I was going to come here and say, wow, the gap was really tiny. It's about 5 meters across for both FPO and MPO. But what's difficult about that is once you go through, you have to throw it Anheuser or some. In fact, you basically want to throw flat or something that turns Anheuser, but you need something with a really stable finish. So if you have something stable that you want to guarantee that fade left towards the basket at the end, you're throwing towards the right side of the gap with an Anheuser, which fades it even closer to. So that one was different, not in that it's easier or harder, but it's harder in a way that I didn't expect and easier in the way that I did expect. Some of the holes in the back nine are different than I imagined them to be. I don't think they're easier or more difficult than I imagined, but like there's like a 89 meter like a valley shot with a whole bunch, like a row of trees on either side. That's about 3 or 4 meters wide. No, probably a bit more, like 5 meters wide at the in the depths of the valley. But that reminds me a lot of that Woodhill hole, that's the same design, that sort of valley down, valley back up, and then just like trees either side. In this case, in Kiwiland, at Woodhill it's bush. Here it's just trees, but that's almost more difficult, because if you clip a tree, you are going ages into the bush, and then there's lots of trees between you and the cage. I might fill some more, I don't know. I kind of want to get, this is my last day, I'm only going to have half day before I head into Boston, and I want to do a bit more shopping. I've seen there's tons and tons of discs at Marshall Street Disc Golf that aren't on their website, so I want to have a look at those. But I'm going to play probably 2 rounds, so I'll do this one and then one more, and who knows if I film some more. Probably if I do something sweet, I'll have to share it. But anyways, that's my thoughts from a third of the way through round 3 of Maple Hill.